Yeah, man. I think it's probably overall. The 4 years, and I'm now working at Local Assembly. So yeah, so I'm Air Force, but I'm actually one contractor that does the maintenance on 5 jets. Yeah, so I'm a better day in the engineering section. So my contract with Air Force as a whole is 9 years but that's from the very start of the relationship. So it's like 4 years and I'm halfway through that 5 years. But I changed jobs. So it's not one I did I'll just do some like this one. The engine's job is like 2.5 years and then I'll have another 2 years on the I'm trying to get operation. Alright guys, we'll get started. Sorry for delays. We did have 90 RSVP, but I think with the date fuck up, it's probably about right now. So apologies for the date change. Probably should have done it earlier. So my name's Lucas, for those who don't know. We've been doing this thing for a while. We're still learning, like with date changes. These are community events, they're free, so yeah, you get what you pay for. We did get Consensus sponsored, so there's plenty of pizza there. What else? Consensus are hiring, so if you're looking for positions, come see me because there's plenty of positions, both here in Brisbane and everywhere. Did you want to say something tonight, Alex? Alright, well, news, may as well throw to Alex.
You can start the news.
Well, the news was, okay, so a couple of things. Good story. So you guys have probably heard of Travel by Bit. Caleb was here a bit. He's getting some good press with the airport and stuff. I had a chat with him before, and there's a merchant down on Edward Street, Pablo and Rusty. So I make a habit every Friday to go up there and get my coffee with Ethereum, and it's quite funny the price keeps coming down. So anyway, the manager from Pablo and Rusty from Sydney came up and he said, oh, was this Travel by Bit thing working? They said, well, there's one guy who comes in every week to buy a coffee and a few others. So it was only, like, to be honest, probably 3 or 4 transactions a week, but because we had 3 or 4 and I was a regular, they're going to continue and roll out to Sydney. So I guess the point here is, well, if we want this technology to succeed, we might have to actually use it. So, you know, go past about 10 coffee shops to do this, to support it. So if it fails, we probably can only blame ourselves. So maybe, you know, just maybe buy a coffee once a week, and that might be enough to, you know, keep the Brisbane community going and expanding, which hopefully we all want to see. So I was going to do some Ethereum news, but did you want to? Alright, so before is there any? I also like to do about community news. So it's probably a good thing. So if anyone's got projects or two they want to announce or talk about, shout out. But Alex will go first. So for those who don't know Alex, this is Alex.
What's up, people? Alright, should I announce the BTC meetup? Okay, so 2 weeks from now, guys, I'm sure you've all seen, there's going to be a Bitcoin Cash meetup. It's going to be like a panel. So bring your vests, bring the knives, bring the what are those things called?
Molotovs.
The Molotovs, that's it. No, but it'll be myself and Lucas on that, I think, and also Hayden and Brendan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
for those who care about Bitcoin, sorry, that's
the
meetup.
Yeah. Oh yeah, touche.
The other.
Yeah, the other one. There's that. There's myself and a couple others. So Justin in the back somewhere, wherever he is, and a few other people. We're working on a project to try and bring a chapter of the blockchain center up here in Brisbane. And I don't know if any of you guys have heard of it, but there's sort of an organisation down in Melbourne. The whole point of the blockchain center is to have a hub where all things that happen in the blockchain space can happen under sort of one hub. Brings investors, the community, projects, and large projects out in the ecosystem sort of to one place. Anyway, we're exploring whether it's worth bringing that up to Brisbane. And in doing so, we're looking at maybe doing a blockchain launch event for it, like over a weekend. And the idea behind that is to bring, we've already spoken to like Nexus, EOS wants to come, I'm sure Ethereum would be interested, and all sorts of larger projects to sort of back the event and create like a whole weekend open day for anyone out in the community, in the greater community, to come and to meet startups in the space that are doing things, to hear some speakers talk about what's happening in the space, etc., etc. So as we get a little bit closer, we'll announce it on the meetups and things so everyone can know. But that again, tying it back to what Lucas said before about what Caleb's doing at Travel by Bit and people actually spending and using, it's up to us here to actually get the word out, build a community, and keep spreading it, because that's how this thing got built, by Lucas over the last 3-4 years, however long the meetup's running. And although we got a big spike in attendance last year when the price was going up, I've sort of seen the attendance sort of fall, and you guys are a good example of the more true believers, the people actually are going to keep coming to these things. And it's in these times when people are most uncertain about the space that we need to make the loudest noise about it, not just when the fucking prices are going up. So when as we get closer to that, I'll keep putting things up. The more meetups that happen, the more people that come to these things, the more people you bring along and drag your friends along to it as well, the better it's going to be for all these meetups. So there's that. There's another couple projects that are happening. So I know there's a couple podcasts now that are happening in the space. I'm running one with the Decentralized podcast where we've had some big guests on. I know you're running one. What's it called?
FOMO show.
The FOMO show.
Yeah.
And Casey. Crypto Talk. So there's content out there. Again, at some stage we'll post that up on the meetup groups as well, so that way everyone can hear them, share them, and all that sort of stuff. The more we build it together, the better. So yeah, that's it for me from a community perspective, guys. Thanks for coming tonight.
Yeah, cool. And this is also Alex's premise, so it's good to have some sponsorship. Okay. Ethereum news, so hands up if you don't know what Solidity is. Alright, cool. So the 2 new versions got released the 17th, and then they found a bug and released the 0.23 a couple of days later. So the big features on that were emit constructors and revert with reason. So I'll just actually show you some of those features there. So I like to do by coding. I've also pushed all the code up to GitHub as well for tonight. So we refresh. Yeah. So is that alright? Is that readable? Is that readable? Half readable?
You're moving closer, by the way.
I'm not sure. You might have to move in because there's going to be a lot of coding, a lot of showing code tonight. So it's probably best. So this contract here. So before this version, before 0.22. We used to do for a constructor, so it was like function demo, okay, like that guy, but now we actually use the keyword constructor. Okay, so people know what a constructor is?
Yep.
Okay.
It's not now deprecated.
Sorry?
It's now that deprecated.
Yeah, and you'll see that over here. So if you're in, you guys know Remix? Everyone use Remix? Okay, so I'll be doing mostly in Remix tonight. So it's got the real-time compiler, etc. So you can set over here your compiler to whichever one. So we could actually set it to the newest guy here, but I think it's on. We can target. I think that's the release there. So given that, you'll see these the warnings on the side where they're deprecated. So yeah, that's right. It is deprecated. So that's one of the changes. The other change was emit. So emit is when you call call an event. So previously we just used to call, we just basically call that event as such, but we actually use the word now emit. So I actually like that. It's kind of that more delicate-y style, I guess. It feels a bit better. So, you know, there used to be the convention of uppercase, lowercase for events. We still use that, but yeah, anyway, we use that emit. Now the other guy, which is quite cool, is revert with reason. So we could have something here on our add function that it's only required by owner. Okay, so that's probably typical defense. But what we can do now is we can put in a reason. So this function. Okay, so when you do debug, you can actually see why errors or those conditions aren't being asserted. So that's pretty cool. All right, so back to our slides. So does that all make sense? All cool. Everyone excited about that? Some other little introductions. So they got some array operations got cheaper. Some other general encoding routes, etc. Some of these other global functions, gas left, and deprecated block hash with this block hash. So some other little basic versions, but to me they're the most ones. And you can check or use soft version just by that, and obviously links to those versions. So tonight, Tom, were you at the? Where's Tom?
Yeah.
Were you at the hacking contracts one at Portugal?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. So tonight, how to prepare for an audit, history. That we'll talk the hacker gold, the DAO hack, the parity hack part 1. We'll talk about hack part 2. Talk about some tools. We'll talk about software development life cycle. We'll talk about our feelings. Audit. No, we're not going to do that. So we're just going to basically demo code. So we'll just talk through some code. There's probably 4 conditions I've got. We'll just talk about them, hopefully get some interaction, what can go wrong. So, some general philosophies. These aren't just smart contract stuff, it's probably a lot of software development as well. So, prepare for failure. Things go wrong. We reduce the complexity, as the complexity increases, the likelihood